Oh, hello. Welcome to a highly chaotic, unplanned live stream on my lunch in which I'm going to be reacting to the Goodreads Choice Award nominees. Normally, I would be doing this with Jess, but this week I have a friend in town. So we had talked about doing with Toot. That wasn't going to happen. It's just not in the cards for the nominees. I am hoping, I haven't asked her about this, but I'm hoping she'll be amenable to doing a little reaction maybe to the winners. So hopefully you will have some Jess content. But for now, I always react to these nominees and I just couldn't bear not to. So we are going to keep this to be a very snappy, short live because I literally, it's just so chaotic here today. I just had someone drop something off. I have somebody else coming in like 30-45 minutes to to come do something in the house. So like we're going to keep this snappy, but I couldn't not do this, and this was like the only time to really do it. So for those of you who are actually here live, even though I don't even have a thumbnail yet, bless you. And without further ado, let's see what Goodreads hath wrought upon us, because I have not seen these yet, but if I know anything about Goodreads, I think I've kind of decided maybe they're just trolls at heart, and they, sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to make sure. Okay, that's perfect. They are trolls at heart. I'm somewhat convinced. And so I think they do this to bait us. Yay, hello. Oh yeah, that's also true. It's a random time for me, but it's probably a good time for other people. I'm not going to tell your boss if you won't tell mine, you know. Yay! I'm glad that our European friends are already are getting to join us today. So let's just get into it and see what's going on. Also, this is me figuring out how close my my AI's recommendations were versus mine. So let's see what are you doing here? I'm not going to scroll down. I'm just going to click. Okay. Okay, so this is general fiction. I tend to have fewer opinions here because this is not my category of choice, but let's see here. A Wild and Dark Shore, I heard a lot of good buzz about. We got good old Frederick Bachman, a mainstay. Ocean Vuong, I've heard great things about them. Yeah, okay. We've got an Ian McEwan, good old Ellen Hilderbrand, Jojo Moyes. I've not heard. Has she been releasing things? Maybe I just haven't noticed. Wally Lamb. Oh, Yenkin Braithwaite. I didn't realize that she had released another book. Well, I'm going to vote for that because I loved My Sister the Serial Killer. That was a great book, so I'll just vote for that. Oh, I should give my typical disclaimer. These are popularity contests, so if you're mad that I have not read these books but am voting, I am part of the populace and therefore can contribute to what is popular. So I always vote for all of them because why not? I'm already seeing people telling me to brace for mystery thriller. Yes, I'm alone for this one just for scheduling reasons, but hopefully me and Jess can get aligned for maybe the winners to react to that. Okay, so that was fiction. Let's go to historical fiction. Who wants to do an over-under? So we know that Taylor Jenkins Reid will be there. Natch. I think her book was Atmosphere. I think that's the release this year. And then I'm going to guess if there are 20 nominees, I'm going to guess that 10 of them have to do with World War II. What do you guys think? That's my guess. Okay, so we've got The Amalfi Curse by Sarah Penner. Okay. That actually sounds kind of cool. That sounds more like a thriller. Janelle Brown. When I see her name, I always assume that she is one of the sister wives, but it's a different Janelle Brown. Let's see. Troublesome Women. Oh, is there Kristen Harmel? Is this different than Kristen Hanna? This has to be them trying to trick people who think this is Kristen Hanna into buying this, because the font and the cover is nearly identical to her typical style. So good job, marketing team, using that name similarity to your benefit. I salute you. Okay, let's see. We got David Baldacci. That's a well-known name. I'm seeing some names I recognize here, but nothing standing out. Okay. Oh, and then there's the Taylor Jenkins Reid. So that one I assume is going to win. But let's see. Who am I going to pick? Does the chat have an opinion about who to vote for? Yes, we are all the populace. Oh, dull but pretty cover. Well, that's a bummer. Okay. Let's see here. Getting some snaps for Kristen Harmel, who, again, I'm not knocking the advertising hustle there. That is a great ploy. I agree. It doesn't seem like it's as WW2 heavy this year, so I guess that's good. The Hounding is getting some love. I love the cover. My favorite cover of these is The First Witch of Boston, so I might vote for that. But The Hounding, that is a pretty sweet cover. Margaret Jones. Okay. Well, the chat is saying that they like The Hounding, so we'll vote for that, because I like both of those covers about the same, and they seem like they are pretty similar topics, so why not? Okay. Everybody strap in, because here's really what we're here for, which is mystery thriller. Let's see what they hath wrought. Okay. Oh, and I should bring up my guess, just so that I can, because I honestly don't remember what I ended up picking, because I put a lot less thought into it this year since I was doing a pure numbers game. Okay. I've got mine over here on the side. So Dan Jones, I did predict. Lisa Jewell is in. That was one that was on the bubble for me, but I don't think I ended up putting in. No, because the numbers weren't there. King of Ashes, as I said, I knew that was going to be one. Also, The Tenant is on mine. So, yes. Okay, this Reese Witherspoon one, I wondered if it would be there, because the numbers didn't really support it, but I was looking, if I had been using subjective criteria, I would have picked this, just because it is Reese Witherspoon and Harlan Coben is such a popular author, but the numbers didn't support it, which is why I did not pick it. The Impossible Fortune I picked. Famous Last Words, I'm a little surprised about, just based on it wasn't as high up in the list as you would think. Not Quite Dead Yet was another one that I thought might be in there, but it didn't end up being. Well, actually, I'm kind of surprised. I think I didn't have this in the pull of all of the things, because I was just using the list from the Goodreads blogs, and I either missed this one or it wasn't in there. And I remember being surprised about it, and then I did see it in Meg's and was like, yeah, I think she's probably right about that. Okay, Heartwood was there. Vera Wong, I think I have. Yeah, I have Perfect Divorce. And then The Intruder, is that the one that I put in? No, that's not the one I put in. I predicted that they would only, because I see another Frida McFadden, and it's The Crash, which I did put in there. I predicted they were going to limit Frida McFadden to 2 this year. which is why I did not include a third. But now I'm very confident that she's not going to win because it's just going to split the vote 3 ways. 3 Fridas is actually kind of insane, right? Like that's pretty insane. Yeah, I think okay, it looks like the the chat agrees that 3 is pretty wild. Um so I'm surprised they let all 3 in. I thought they were going to limit it to 2. Then I did have The Perfect Divorce. The Widow, I think I that did make it based on the numbers, right? Yeah, The Widow I had on my list. The Crash I had. Ghostwriter was in the mix, but the numbers didn't support it. You Killed Me First, I think I had on my list, but I don't think I ended up including it, or did it? That was one that was kind of on the bubble. Oh, yeah, no, actually, I did include that one. Never mind. Okay, yeah, so I have that one. The Missing Half, I think, yes, I had that. Beautiful Ugly I had, and this is the one I think I put to win just based on numbers and assuming that the free to vote's going to get split. Uh we are all guilty here I had, and then Forget Me Not. This is surprising because the numbers actually did not really support this one being in there. Oh, interesting. The numbers have gone up a lot. So maybe that's the other thing, is that I need to try to do my prediction closer to the actual date, because some of these numbers have jumped since I pulled them. But actually, can I say, I think that none of these surprise me. Like all of these, okay, this is actually really interesting. So all of these were in the mix for what I thought might make it, purely based on limiting myself to their blog posts, and then only trying to use the numbers and much less my subjective judgment. This actually demystifies the algorithm a lot to me. It's really um yeah, so really my takeaway from this is, whatever, if the publisher is angling to try to get their book nominated for the Goodreads Choice Awards, the way to do that is whatever paid placement they do in the Goodreads blogs. That's how you know that it's on Goodreads radar and therefore is getting that push from the publisher. That's actually extremely interesting. I'm going to guess that this is my most successful guessing year, and I had such less subjective input. Now, if I had subjective input, I do think I would have gotten that Reese one. And I guess, but on the other side of that, if I'd gone strictly by the numbers, I would have had more Fridas in. So those kind of cancel each other out. And then really, the Ghostwriter and Famous Last Words are the only two to me that were on the list I'd put together, but at least when I pulled the numbers, seemed to be more subjective choices. Maybe because this one is such a high rating, even though it doesn't have as many ratings as some of the others. And I know Jillian McAllister won one year, so maybe that's that sort of a like legacy kind of pick. So this is very interesting. And I guess I did use King of Ashes as a subjective one because it has fewer numbers but very high, and that's just because they love S.A. Cosby. I'm gonna, like, my cynical part is that he's like, well, he's fantastic. He's fantastic, but I think they know how white their lists usually are. And so I think they're loath to not, for something that is so well reviewed in this category. I think they can't resist making sure he's in there. And I'm glad, because like his books are fantastic, and hopefully this does give them more visibility. But yeah. Okay. This is super interesting, guys. Is this a good list? I'm going to say no. But is it very interesting that my list was, I think, better? Did I beat my AI? Certainly, because the AI included things that were not eligible. And um like not like they were ineligible either based on the rating or the when they were released, and or it didn't have the correct titles for some of them. So um this list, I guess I'm happy. Like, okay, I had to have this, I think, is the best year I've ever had predicting. That's so funny. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I got 11. 12. No, 12. I had 12. I think that's higher than last time. That's really funny. And all the ones that I didn't pick, that like the ones that are swapped out, like I don't think any of these are surprising to me. So that's really interesting. That's really, really interesting. Oh, never mind. Melissa is saying that last year I had 13. Okay. So actually not my best year, but comparable. So yeah, it's not a list for me either, I would say. And I don't I think I agree with this. I think that they really should talk about just doing one. They should really talk about just doing one book per author. I think that really would help. No, I'm glad. Actually, isn't it good to know that my subjective judgment did yield slightly better results last year? Like when I allowed myself to do a little bit more finagling. Yeah, they may have changed some of the rules. I think that Frida will have 2 at least on the short list because she just has so many readers. I doubt she can win because of that. Now, if she only has 1 that makes the short list, then I think that one will win. So, okay, super interesting. And actually, I gotta hustle here because we're coming up on my limit here. Okay. So I'm going to vote for The Impossible Fortune because I have read and enjoyed that book. Of the other books on here, I would read Vera Wong. I would read Dan Brown just because I am a sucker for that kind of pulpy story. I have Famous Last Words, and then King of Ashes, the description didn't sound like it was for me, but I do really love S.A. Cosby, so I could see a world where I end up reading that, but I'm glad I'd not signed up to read all of these this year because I do not think I would be having a good time. Okay, romance. Let's see what we got going here. We got Kennedy Ryan, who we love. I enjoyed the Laurie Gilmore book I read. That was fun. This one wasn't this. I love Allie Hazelwood, but this was not a description that appealed to me. I've just been kind of Emily Henry'd out, so I didn't read that one. I haven't gotten to the Abby Jimenez one yet. So this is interesting. Deep End. Okay, so we've got 2 Allie Hazelwoods. Neither of the Allie Hazelwoods, except, I do need to read that paranormal one from her. But the other 2 she released this year, just not for me in terms of their tropes. Huh. I mean, I recognize a lot of these. How is this still on here? That is crazy. I recognize a lot of these titles and a lot of these authors. Have I read any of these? I haven't. You know what? I would say of this romance I have read this year, Laurie Gilmore was one of the one that I read I enjoyed. I think it surprised me because it was so sexual and yet so twee, which was a weird combo that I didn't hate. So yeah. I guess in the spirit of I liked a different book from the author, I'll vote for that one for this round. Interesting. A lot of series books, right? I feel like this looks super similar to the list last year. It's either the same authors or continuations of the same series. So that's kind of boring. Okay. Well, moving on to Romantasy. Let's see how many of these covers look alike. Well, we know Onyx and Storm is probably going to win, right? Oh, yeah. I didn't say who I thought would win romance. Oh, it's honestly kind of hard to say because he got multiple titles from Ali Hazelwood, so I imagine that vote will get split up. She does have a lot of ratings though, but I'm imagining Emily Henry has a ton of ratings. Yeah, she has even more. I bet Abby Jimenez has a ton. Yeah. So I'm gonna guess. Actually, how many does this have? Not nearly as many. Yeah. Um. Oh, does Kennedy Ryan have a lot? No. Damn it. Okay. I'm gonna guess. I'm just gonna guess Emily Henry. I think she has the most name recognition for non-romance readers. So that'll be my guess. Okay, for Romantasy. Oh, I think Allie Hazel. Ooh, I didn't realize Allie Hazelwood was nominated over here. Okay, she's got a good chance. But then that has 1.5 million ratings on Goodreads. That is wild. So yeah, that one's gonna win. I enjoyed the first book in this, but I've heard like mixed things about this sequel, so I haven't picked that one up yet. Okay, people are saying that it's better than last year in Romantasy. Better covers. What is Alchemized? Do I recognize that? Oh, okay. Well, I Duke it out. This only has 75 or 73,000 rating. This has 1.5 million. I think that Onyx Storm is going to obliterate that. Sulin Tan. This is interesting. Okay. We got a lot of sequels. The only one of these I have read is The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy, which I thought was just okay. Okay, I guess I'll vote for either Ali Hazelwood or Sanju Mandana. Sorry, I have Mamdani on Mandana. Which of these? I probably liked the first book in this better than the other, so I'll vote for that. Interesting. I agree. I think that is a slight improvement over last year, but let's see. Yeah, that's interesting. The Emily Wild series was on fantasy last year. That's interesting. Yeah. Okay, moving on to the main fantasy one. Let's see what we got. Cause the stuff they pick for Goodreads fantasy is always so different than what I'm seeing people talk about. Ooh, Drop of Corruption. Okay, I probably will vote for that because I really like that. I liked Hemlock and Silver, but not the best T. Kingfisher in my opinion. Similar for Catabasis. We got Brando Sandos. I'm guessing he's gonna win. Now it's interesting. This is here. Literally, my copy of this just got delivered. So people love the first one, but I just don't know that it has had enough time to get momentum going. People love V.E. Schwab, so there's that. They have similar number of ratings. I mean, I'm going to vote for A Drop of Corruption because that was definitely my favorite of the ones that are here. But I think the V.E. Schwab has a good chance. I think Brandon Sanderson has a chance. And honestly, to some degree, I think Brandon Sanderson should win because I think he's more representative of a lot of, I don't know. They just aren't, I guess the strength of a few maybe is the other one that feels sort of like high fantasy. They just don't seem to weight very much in that direction. How many ratings does this have? Let's look real quick. Not many. Okay, it must have also just come out. So I'm gonna guess it's either V.E. Schwab or oh no. Are you guys still there? All the comments disappeared. Oh no, okay, they're back. Ooh. Some people are saying that the Schwab is horror. See an epic win. Yeah, we'll see. Okay, and then science fiction. Ooh, I feel like I'm getting through this quickly, but I gotta pick up the pace here. Okay. I remember last year not recognizing hardly any. Okay, I love Nnedi Okorafor, so if we're going just based on author, that probably is who I'll vote for. This is on my TBR for this month, so that's exciting. I haven't read it yet, though. Yeah, I feel like I have no idea. Maybe Adrian Tchaikovsky will win just because of the name recognition. I have seen Disillusion a lot of places, but there's not that many ratings. Yeah, another weak year it looks like for sci-fi, but I'm gonna vote for Nnedi Okorafor because I just like her writing a lot. Now, horror has been pretty good the last few years. So let's see here. I'm seeing some people giving us some recs for sci-fi. Dream Hotel's been doing the round with fiction, literary. Oh, there you go. There's a yeah, that's another sci-fi is another category where they don't seem to have a lot of like more typical or like hard sci-fi rep. They have a lot of literary sci-fi rep. Okay, off the bat, I don't recognize some of these, which is surprising because a lot of these I usually recognize more in horror. You Weren't Meant to Be Human. I did read the Grady Hendrix, but it was not for me. Didn't read the Chuck Tingle this year, but I do love him. This is on my TBR. I was open to reading We Love You, Bunny, but honestly, the people who I've seen reading it have not been happy with it, so probably no. How Bad Things Can Get. I've read her before. There's some, can I just say, the horror genre the last few years has had fantastic covers. Like, look at these. Okay, I haven't read any of these yet, though a few of them are on my TBR. I'm based on my enjoyment of their past work. I will go ahead and vote for Chuck Tingle just because I like him. He's a very cool buckaroo. So, but that if I had so far of them, if I had to read a full category, horror so far would be the one that I would read because there's a lot of things on here that look interesting or I've heard, good or bad, I've heard something about them. So, at least it's not boring. Yeah, Nate Cassidy is one of those or Nat, is it Nate or Nat? I don't know. They are one of those horror authors that I haven't tried yet, but I really want to because I've heard such good things. Okay, on to debut. How many more categories do we have? Interesting. We still have. Anyway, I still think they can make some improvements in their categories. Okay, debut novel. Let's see if I recognize any of these. Oh, excuse me. I mean, I recognize some of these from earlier in the list, but none of these are standing out. I did see someone in the chat mention that they really like the Lilac People, so I will vote for that for this one. But yeah, okay, nothing standing out to me in debut. Next, we have audiobook, which, as discussed last year, I find to be an odd category for this list. And The Impossible Fortune isn't on here. I thought I could just default to voting for that. But okay, so we've got an audible original on Pride and Prejudice. We've got Christine reading her memoir. Well, we've got Harry Potter. Ugh. Okay. Well, purely based on liking the author's previous work, like if I had to pick one of these to read or listen to in this case, I would pick King of Ashes. So we'll go with that. Yeah, it would actually be very funny if Jane Austen won a Goodreads Choice Award. She can put it on her CV. I'm sure she needs the hype. Okay, YA fantasy sci-fi. We've got a bunch of stuff I don't recognize. And a lot of authors I don't recognize, which is fine because I've not really been paying that much attention to that in recent years. Based on enjoying previous work, is there anyone I can vote for? A lot of new to me names. I mean, some I recognize, but that's good. I don't feel like I can really go based on previous. Oh, Fonda Lee. Okay, yeah, love it. Love Fonda Lee. We'll vote for her and maybe her daughter, her partner. Sister. I don't know. Also, I always like dragons in books, so that's exciting. General YA. Oh Lord, if I didn't know the sci-fi fantasy, I'm really not going to know this. I've liked Tia Williams' work in adult before. That's kind of cool. Jennifer Lynn Barnes seems to still be in this series that I think is her worst series. So, I mean, get that coin, girl. I get it. Julie Soto, Fake Skating. Oh, yay. Oh, great cover. You know what? This is Following a Freshman. Okay, this cover is bomb, so we're gonna and it's the one that has intrigued me to read it, so I'm gonna vote for that. Okay, I think we're rounding the bend. We are in non-fiction territory now. Oh, it's Bruce Lee's daughter. Oh, that's fun. That's very cool. All the LGBT rep is in YA. Yeah. I mean, I guess I'm glad, given the state of book banning in the US, but still. Okay, nonfiction. Woo, we've got some cringe already. Okay. Ay. Okay. This I have on my library TBR, so I might vote for that. I've read from this author before, but the book I read aged pretty quickly. Turn Generation Against Themselves, Tragedy of True Crime, Four Guilty Men and the Stories That Define Us. Okay. In Shittification, I've seen that author doing tours. I just read The Serviceberry, which was lovely. So I'm going to say this book, I know who I'm going to vote for. This book was not for me because it was more of a memoir than political or like sociological commentary, which was what I wanted. But the writing was excellent and I'm very passionate about the topic. So I'm going to vote for One Day Everyone Will Have Always Been Against This because I really want it to win, to be honest. But if I were going to go based on like what was for me, The Serviceberry, Black and Blues, I think sounds really great. So yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, I think if it's what you're looking for in terms of the genre, like the writing was excellent. So, and The Tragedy of True Crime, I'm seeing a recommendation for that. Okay. Only a couple more. So then we've got Memoir. The House of My Mother. I haven't read, but I've seen so many YouTube videos about it. I feel like I have. Malala Yousaf. Okay, we've got some. Oh, that is funny. Okay. We've got Cher's memoir. Oh, okay. I feel like I'm seeing all the like little scuttlebutts that came up from these different books as I read through this. Oh God, who am I gonna vote for? If I go on the criteria of which of these would I like to read, I've heard Careless People is really good, and that's kind of on my radar to maybe read at some point. But I'm seeing several of you talking about Raising Hair being fantastic, so okay. Oh, interesting. Okay, good to know. I'll keep that on my radar. Okay, history and biography. Is this our last one? It is. Okay, let's do this. Ooh. Jane Austen's Bookshelf, JFK Conspiracy, Sisters in Science, How to Kill a Witch, The Fate of the Day, Propaganda Girls, King of Kings, The Iranian Revolution, We the People, Baldwin, Twain. Interesting. Okay. Now, I will say, in my capacity as a weirdo who watches a lot of videos about maritime disasters, the Zorg, I have actually been not watching anything about it because I knew this book was coming out. So I think I might vote for that because literally I'm like needing to read it so I can watch videos about it. So maybe that's what I'm gonna pick. Yeah, interesting spread here. Let's see if chat has any strong feelings. A lot of good memoirs, people are saying. Yeah, Jane Austen has the potential to be a 2-time Goodreads Choice Award winner. Yep. Okay. Well, we've already done one on the Titanic, but I am here to do as many as you guys want to see because I'm fascinated. But I think I'm gonna pick the Zorg, and this is actually a reminder to me that I need to get a copy of this. So, okay, whew, we did it. Thoughts? I don't feel like there's a ton of surprises in this. That doesn't mean it's good or that I like it, but I think it's pretty predictable. Yeah. Some books that I think should not have been nominated were there. Some books that I thought should have been nominated weren't. That's all pretty standard. I don't feel like there was any intense some years it really does feel like they're trolling us. This year not as much. I do think I continue to have questions about how they divvy up their categories. Like they have a limited number of categories. I get that. I do think that there are ways to make that like improvements on that basically. Like I still miss the middle grade and children's category. I would rather have that instead of the audiobook category. I think that having some kind of like speculative fiction category could be helpful because I think that would then free up sci-fi, fantasy, and horror to have a little bit more traditional genre stuff in it as opposed to more literary genre stuff. That's something I think would be good. I definitely agree with people who say that they at least should limit each category to only having one author entry, like one entry per author. I think that would be a big improvement. But honestly, I also kind of feel like once a series has won a book, they should disqualify that series going forward just to keep it a little bit fresher, in my opinion. So, okay, I've gone over what I thought I was going to, and now I literally have 5 minutes before somebody gets here. So I have got to run. I hope you guys were okay with this very informal live. I'll try to get a thumbnail up on it so that it's not just my red face in the thumbnail soon. But appreciate you guys hanging out. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Take care of yourself. Take care of your neighbors. Hit the bell if you want to know what I'm going to post because I don't even know. And I'll just catch you guys soon on the flippity flop. Bye.